What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of the VSOP Lounge. I, of course, am your host, Captain of the Cool Kids and host of the Grown Man Logic podcast, DeJuan J, and I hope that all is well. Tonight, we're going to continue down our road of the G7 series and find out, are you in fact a G7 man? A man that puts himself in position to take advantage and receive all of his desired outcomes. The drink of the evening, brought to you again out of this 14.5 ounce highball glass, courtesy of shopgrownmanlogicpod.com. Shopgrownmanlogicpod.com. We are drinking a Sazerac, a Hennessy Sazerac. I don't know what they're waiting on. They may as well cut a check and sponsor this entire series. But until they do, we're going to continue to enjoy and have good quality conversation. I want to thank those of you guys who have emailed and texted the line and responded back to and giving us feedback, giving me feedback on whether or not that I'm off or not. But again, this series is designed to put you in position to receive all of your desired outcomes. A couple of episodes ago, we talked about being genuine. Last episode, we talked about being gracious. And tonight, we're going to talk about being gallant. Before we do, and a couple of you have inquired why I always start with the definition of the word. Those of y'all who've seen the Grown Man Logic page interact on any form of social media or seen me personally, DeJuan O'Neal 1 on Instagram, DeJuan O'Neal 22N on Twitter, DeJuan O'Neal on Facebook, words matter. What you say and how you, not necessarily how you say it, but what you say matters. So I think it's important to be very clear and be very concise. And that's why we have to define our terms in the beginning of these episodes, right? That's part of being one of these G7 men. It's part of being straightforward. It's part of being genuine, and that way nothing gets lost in the translation. So gallant, the definition: brave or heroic, chivalrous, gentlemanly, noble-minded. That's what we're talking about today. Now, hopefully you guys are starting to see a pattern and how all of these things, one thing relates to another, which relates to the next thing, which relates to the next thing, and how they all combined, stirred in a pot and poured into a body should be you. Because these are the things that people admire when it comes to a man. When it comes to a man, these are, whether it's an employer looking for an employee, whether it's you're dealing with trying to get an agenda passed through politics or other means, whether even if you're a street guy, these qualities and these characteristics and these terms, they apply, they matter to you. So when we talk about brave and heroic, it's been said numerous times that women like the strong, silent type, or the men who give off the bad boy image. The word gallant comes from medieval times when knights walked around and they expressed chivalry, yet they were the most badass men on the planet. They walked around with their swords and their regal robes, but gallant also knows when it's time to put the armor down. Stay protected. Stay being a protector. Stay being chivalrous. But knowing when to put the armor away and knowing when to pick up a pen instead of a sword. Know when it's time to have a conversation instead of just willing to duke everything out. Women, they like the strong, silent type of men. Yet so many men jump on social media screaming alpha, letting the world know where they stand and who they are and what they're about and things of this nature. But in the words of the great man, Denzel Washington, in the character of Frank Lucas in American Gangster, the loudest man in the room is usually the weakest one. That's the guy who has to peacock the most. That's the guy who has to put out his chest the most. That's the guy who has to garner the most attention to feel validated within himself. So, what are we talking about here? We're talking about the ability to show the opposite sex, particularly a woman, or another guy, if that's your thing, right? But the ability to show a potential suitor or mate that you can provide a level of physical security. Step one. Now, here's the part where some of us are going to disagree. But a level of physical fitness is important. Physical fitness is important. You need to be physically fit, not only to live a longer, healthier life, but it acts as a distressor. Um, it acts as a thing to prolong your life, to prolong your longevity on this planet. But a man that lifts a little bit of a bicep, a little bit of a chest, some pecs, bodes well to the opposite sex, to the fairer sex, and they're willing to give you more of an opportunity as a mate or a potential suitor. When you look as if you work out, it shows that you're under some sort of discipline. It shows that you're regimented and that you can hold some sort of commitment to something inside of your life. All of these things subconsciously registers in this woman's mind as you're approaching. I'm not saying you have to be, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, or Roy Jones, or even Floyd Mayweather, but these guys, they look like they can provide some security. I'm not saying that you have to be, Myles Garrett, Sam Darnold, NFL, DK Metcalf, these body guys. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you look like you lift, subconsciously to a woman, she knows that, hey, if some shit went down, I have a chance. I have a chance of survival. I have a chance, and my mate, this guy that I've chosen, has a chance. He has a chance in this fight. Physical security off the rip, without even thinking. Forget about it. You have a chance. But if you're out of shape, you're less likely to get that opportunity. Not saying that you can't. We see rich, funny guys, rich, fat guys, rich, out of shape guys with women all the time. Bad ones at that. And I'll give them that. But there's nothing that gives off heroic or brave vibes from those guys. And at that point, you might want to start to question the motive of the woman, or why she's there. Or what did she see in this particular individual? Is she settling? Has she been hurt by guys that look like this before? But that's a conversation for another show and another topic. But it's something to be said for a man that'll go in and be brave and heroic. And that doesn't necessarily mean in a physical protective state, right? This goes with life. Are you willing to take a risk? Are you willing to go on an adventure and step outside of your comfort zone and do things that you've never done before with her? Because it shows that you're more willing to try new things. That translates over to the job market. Because now employers are like, hey, you know what? This guy looks like he's in shape. Okay, he's disciplined. I'm hiring somebody new, so obviously what I've been doing has not been working. So let me hire somebody who may think outside of the box. They're brave. They're not comfortable inside of their echo chamber or their epistemic bubble or their comfort zone. They're willing to step outside of this thing and show me something that I've never seen before, or perhaps have never seen before. Brave, heroic, gentlemanly, knowing how to dress. Something that simple. The Godfather, Kevin Samuels, all the time says, "Hey, put on a suit." And I personally think that every man should own one or two suits, because you never know where you're gonna have to be. Are you versatile? Can you play by the rules of the room that you're willing to play in, that you're wanting to play in? Can you play by the rules of the room that you want to play in? This matters. This matters because it shows versatility. It shows the ability to read any room. It shows that you know the etiquette of the social level that you're in. And you can call it whatever you want to. You can call it code switching, call it putting on a different hat, however you need to call it. But it's an ability that you need to have. And perfecting and mastering these skills come from being brave. I grew up in the hood. I went to one of the best high schools in the country. Graduated from one of the best colleges in the country. And currently I'm doing well. I'm doing well for myself. With that being said, there are several different rooms that I need to be able to be in. When I go home, I need to be able to talk to my friends and relate. When I'm in the Navy, I need to be able to lead the people that are under me. When I'm at a business meeting, I need to be able to crack the jokes. I can read the room and know the etiquette, but that came from getting reps outside of my comfort zone. I didn't wake up a well-spoken individual. I didn't wake up with the degrees that I have. I didn't wake up with the certifications that I have. I didn't wake up with the experience that I had. All of these things were new. I had to be brave. And I also had to be heroic in a sense of I'm going to stand on my principle. And if it went against my principle, I'm not entertaining it. I'm not doing it. In social situations, the chivalry aspect of this comes in social situations. And I'm not just talking about holding a door, pulling out a chair, bringing flowers for the date. Yes, these things can, I'm not going to say should, but they can be done. And there's some women who expect these type of things. Shout out to Kendra. But there's something about that people are willing to put trust in you. You're invited to the board meetings where the executive VP and the CEO are going to attend. You're invited to the social gatherings that high brass, big brass of that company attend. The annual Christmas party when you feel like you don't belong in that room, but because you own a suit and you know how to read a room and play by the rules of that room, you get invited. Now that puts you in a position to get FaceTime with Big Brass, with your boss. Hey, I appreciate the way that you handled that situation. You did everything that was asked of you and then some. So next time a job opportunity opens to move up in the company, hey, why not you? It lets people feel emotionally, physically, and mentally secure with your abilities and your skill sets. Another part of that definition is a nobleman. In other words, you have to be above petty. You have to be above petty. Now, it's easy to get down in the dirt, get down in the weeds with things. Post on social media, you made me feel this way. screw you because you did this, that, and the third. Right? Easy. But why? Why do it? You have to act like you've been there before. Kings do not concern themselves with the affairs of peasants. Not that one person's better than the other, but we're trying to put you on this level. The G7 man is on this level, right? Because life is good to us because we've placed ourselves in positions to take advantage of certain opportunities. So why am I worried about what Ray Ray and Pookie and them got going on down there? I don't care. Is it taking food off of my table? Nope. Is it affecting me paying a bill? Nah. Did it affect my ability to get to and from work? Nope. Why do I care? Getting involved in petty affairs takes your mind off of, and your focus. It takes your mind and your focus off of your purpose. I tweet all the time. Wake up on purpose. I also tweet, live, don't just exist. All of these things come with a purpose-driven life, with a purpose. When you wake up with a goal, and we're going to talk about goals later in this series, we're going to talk about goals and being goal-oriented and why that matters and why it's important to set goals and plan out the steps that it's going to take. So you don't have time to get in petty bullshit. Even in the Bible, idle hands is the devil's workshop. In other words, if you're not doing anything, you're doing the wrong thing. Because it's going to allow you to fall into something petty. You're on social media in arguments. I can't tell you between 2019 and 2020 how many jobs were lost due to social media activity because people were bored. When it comes to being gallant, you have to remember, it came from the knights, right? And they had the respect of the men and the women. Why? Because they could handle themselves when they're in a room with the king. But on the battlefield, they handle business as well. And this is how we have to be. How do we get there? How do we get there? Try something new. Try something you've never done before. If you're looking to be gallant in your workspace, try taking the lead on a project. Try thinking of more efficient ways to get things done to save the company money. If it's your own business, consider taking that risk that you've been thinking about. If it's in your relationship, take your woman to a date that she's never talked about, never thought about, or anything that's fun and adventurous and it's outside of both your comfort zones and see how it works. Gallant. This has been chapter 3. And by now, we should be putting some of these things into practice. Being genuine, being gracious, being gallant, being brave, heroic, but chivalrous and gentlemanly at the same time. Noble-minded. I don't have time for petty bullshit. I can read the room. I can read the room, and I can read it well. Become a master at being gallant. I'm not dismissing the feeling of fear. I know that it exists. I know that it's real. But at the same time, we don't have time to outwardly express that emotion in the moment. Compartmentalize it. Deal with it later. But for now, it's time. It's time to try something different. Let me know what you tried. Email me. talktogml@gmail.com. talktogml@gmail.com. Text me 617-752-8150. 617-752-8150. Let me know. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Am I off? I don't think so. We're all about building better men to take leadership roles. Ladies, if you're listening to this, share this with a man that you care about. Fellas, if you're listening to this, take advantage of one of the opportunities or one of the avenues that I just mentioned, either email or text, and let me know how we're doing. This has been Chapter 3 of the G7 series. Another episode of the VSOP Lounges in the books. Cheers, folks.
Did you enjoy what you just watched? Be sure to give Grown Man Logic a listen on all streaming services and follow us on all forms of social media. We'll see you next time.